In today's video, we're going to be showing you how to lay your very own vinyl like this one.
And all you're going to need to fit your vinyl flooring is 2 knives, one straight, one hook, some multi-purpose spray adhesive and some anti-plaz tape.
And you're also going to need a tape measure to measure your area.
Right, now that you guys have got your vinyl, it's time to cut it down, because usually they come a slightly bigger width, 2 or 3 or 4 meters. And what you want to do to get it a bit easier is cut it down and leave 6 inches or 150 mil all round. Your first step is to grab your tape measure and slip it on the edge of your doorway. We ain't actually got a doorway because this is actually set up for demonstration purposes only. And we're going to roll it along, hit the wall. Ours is 4 foot wide, so we're going to cut it at 4'6". And you actually want to do that for the other way too.
So now we've cut our vinyl down to size, it's time to talk about the subfloor. So our little staged area's got some hardboard down, but what you're going to want to do, if you've got floorboards, you're going to want some ply to make sure it's perfectly flat. If you've got a concrete subfloor, you're going to want to latex it. Again, the floor needs to be smooth.
Right, now your subfloor is ready, we need to give it a thorough clean. We need to make sure every crumb's up. So let's go around sweeping it, make sure every crumb's up.
Now Jack has done a fantastic job of cleaning the floor. We're going to start by priming the perimeter with our multi-purpose spray adhesive. All that does is prime the floor ready for our anti-plaz tape. So obviously don't be getting it up your walls. Spray it like so. And that includes around your toilet. And on the back we just spray the section at the back. In the very centre, we also spray that from the toilet to the wall, and we just go around the whole edge like so, including any vanity units or pedestals you might have. So you've done your priming around the perimeter, including your toilets, your vanity units or your pedestals, anything like that. It's now time to start applying your anti-plaz tape. So all this is a super strong double-sided tape that's designed specifically for vinyl floors. And things like this, a toilet, we're just going to take small sections like so, and we're going to place it around the curve. We don't need to be too finicky, as long as it's most of the way like that. And we're just going to do that around the rest of the room, and we'll show you the result. And once you're done taping, it should look a little something like this. As you can see, I've not gone crazy. As long as it's all the way around the perimeter, that is perfectly good. So let's get on with the vinyl.
Right, now it's time for the exciting bit of rolling out your vinyl. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either roll it back up like this, get an assistant, and we can roll it out like this, keeping the tension as you roll it out. Do not let it fold until you're right out, otherwise you'll end up in a right kerfuffle. Right, pull it out, Jack. Or you can go outside to an area where you can roll out your vinyl, fold it in half, get an assistant to bring it in with you, and you can walk it in, lay it down, and it's a lot easier like that. And now it's time to straighten the vinyl out. Right, so now that you guys have got your vinyl in place, it's time to line it up. And a top tip, if you have a pattern vinyl, is you could use the actual grout lines or the wood grain to line your vinyl up, and I'm going to show you how. And the best wall you need to come off is your longest wall in your bathroom, or a bath panel if it looks good in your situation. Right, now it's time to measure the wall, and you're going to go to the furthest point in your bathroom, and I'm going to get my measurement here, and it's 109 centimeters, and I'm going to measure the other side, and then I'm going to show you how to move it. So that's 108 centimeters. So this is actually 10 millimeters out. And the best way to move it is just get your trainers and give it a slight shuffle. It's a little technique to that.
Right, now that you've got your vinyl all nice and straight, you're going to do one last check before we risk cutting it, and that is to check whether we've got enough. So we just measure from our fold. So we've got 550, and then you measure from your fold to the end. We've got plenty there, so now it's time to start cutting. Right, so a quick tip. Now that it's straight, is to pull off any sections of straight wall that the vinyl's sitting against. So we've got this little small section here. So we're going to pull that tape off. So we're going to unpeel that double-sided anti-plaz, like so. And what this is going to do is hold the vinyl in its final position now. So as we're moving around and cutting, we're not going to slide it around and take it out of straight. And we're then going to move on to the furthest protruding item that we need to cut. For us, it's going to be the toilet. So we're nice and flat underneath. So we're going to pull this back, pull these little sections of double-sided off. So I've got all of the tape pulled off, it's ready to go. We're now going to move on to using our first knife, and that is going to be the hook blade. So it's basically a standard blade and it's got a hook on the end. This is a short hook, this is what we prefer. And we're going to come to the centre of our toilet with our vinyl square through the front. In the centre, we're going to push the vinyl up to the toilet, take our hook, being careful not to go through both layers, we only want to go through the top. So we're going to hook it up and under, and we're going to pull towards ourselves in a nice straight line. Now we've done our very first cut. Your typical bathroom's laid out with a toilet, a vanity and a space with the wall. So we're going to move on to this side first and then we'll move on to the vanity. So all we're going to be doing is manipulating the vinyl very, very carefully. Take your time, do not rush. This is where people make mistakes. And we're just going around section at a time, and we're putting our hook in and we're hooking back towards our cut line. So we're always coming back towards here, like so. And then we'll roll out a bit more and we'll do another one. And if you come round a certain amount and you think it's looking a bit tight, if you just fold that back and put another hook in like so, now we've made it less tension there. So we're going to keep doing that all the way around and always making our way back towards the front of the toilet. We're not moving that way. And then when you get any big sections like this, we're just going to cut these off. We don't want them in our way. Now, I'm not going to go around the back yet. We're now going to move on to the corner so that we can get this section flat, and then we'll finish going around the toilet. Right, so as you can see, that's where we are. We're nice and flat still, so always check that you're flat and you've got no bumps, because it can happen. So just keep checking that we're flat. We're going to move over to this corner here, and it's just a case of putting your thumb on the corner, pushing it down into a point, like so. Take your hook, hook it, bring it out with the hook in place. So we're going to bring that out, and then we're just going to do a V out towards ourselves like so. So now we're stuck along the long wall here, up to the toilet. We've got no pressure in the corner. We're nice and stuck, and we're also flat. We've got no bubbles. So always check that the vinyl's flat. Now we can move on to finishing cutting around the toilet. So as we did on the front, we're just putting in our little reliefs. Hook around, hook and come back, hook and come back towards ourselves. And anything like this, if you just fold it back on itself, we can see this is all waste. So if we just take that out of our way, it makes our life easier. And now, as we come to the tighter bends, you're going to want to be closer with your reliefs, like so. And now we're flat around the back, and we could take this small section off. And this is what you want to end up with. So it's up against the toilet all the way around. We're flat along the wall, there's no bubbles. Leave it there. We're going to move on to the other side, and we'll come back for our final trim after we've cut the rest in. So let's move on with this side. So now we've got this side done, we're going to pull the tape off of our vanity unit, or maybe you've got a shower or a bath. Either way, it's the same process, because that is our next obstacle. As we did the other side, we're going to make our reliefs and slowly work our way around this side of the toilet. The only difference being now is that we've got an obstacle in the way, so we're only going to go as far as that. So we've come as far as we can before hitting our vanity unit, or any obstacle that you may have. Basin, pedestal, shower, it doesn't make a difference, it's the same process. So we've got a vanity unit, we're square up to the front, and what we want to do now is relieve this section of vinyl. So if we come to the corner, we put our hook in again, remembering not to cut underneath, just the top layer we want. We're going to come back towards the centre of the vanity or obstacle, 2 or 3 inches, depending on how comfortable you are. We're then going to turn it straight. And what I'm doing is I'm lifting the vinyl behind the blade to make sure we don't hit underneath. I'm just pulling a straight line in so that now can go around the rest of the toilet. Make sure we're flat, remember, so we're nice and flat there. So we put it on its back, we put our hook blade in and we pull it. Same process all the way around. So now as we come round, we're just going to push our two pieces of vinyl together on our tape, and as you can see, nice and seamless behind there. And that is because we kept the vinyl nice and flat at all times. We've not stretched it, we've not pulled it around, we've just let it do its own thing, so they've met up perfectly. Now we're at this stage, we're going to cut the other corner next to the vanity, and then we're going to go around the vanity itself. Right, so as we did the other side, we're going to cut the corner on the vanity on the opposite side now. So same process, come in 2 or 3 inches, whatever you're comfortable with, and then a nice straight line. We'll then put this piece of vinyl over, making sure we're nice and flat as we do so, sticking it to our anti-plas tape. We're nice and flat. This section here we're just going to trim down, so we just hook it in and pull it along, and that is it. So we'll trim that down. Once we've done that, we're then ready to cut the vinyl down to its final size. So how I like to do it is I like to start on the most awkward section, and that is always the toilet. So we're going to be using our hook blade again. So if you come in close, I'm going to show you how to use this and how to get a perfect cut. So we take our hook blade, and how I like to do it, if I come to the join on the back of the toilet, that's where I'll start. So I hook my blade in while I'm pushing tight against the toilet at about a 30-degree angle, and you'll see as I come round. So I'm following the toilet. I've got pressure against the toilet, but I'm also flat on the floor, and this is not going to be the final size. So we go around. If you need to stop and adjust yourself, come up and out, remove that, adjust yourself till you're comfortable again, and we'll just come back in and do another section. So I'll stop here. I'm getting uncomfortable, and as you can see, look, it's not a very good cut, but what we're doing is we're working our way down. So when you're cutting on the left if you're right-handed, or right if you're left-handed, same vice versa, it's going to be a bit more awkward. So what I do is I use the left hand for me to guide my right hand when I'm cutting left. As I come round, you'll see that I've got my left hand is guiding my right hand, and I'm doing the same process, 20 to 30-degree angle, and I'm tight against the toilet there, and I'm just pulling it nice and steady, and I'm rotating with the curve. And remember, you can always just stop and start again. So then here I can get my right hand back in, so I'll come back this way. Same process, hook it in, push tight. So we're tight like this against this, about 30 degrees. So once we've got it cut down to a short level, we're then going to go back over the vinyl. And remember, all these vinyls are going to be getting a silicone seal. So if I accidentally on purpose go a little bit short like that, so as you can see, whoopsie, we're a bit short. It's really not a big deal to have a couple of mil gap, because you will have a silicone seal around all the edges. So if you follow this process, even if you can get it close, it hasn't got to be perfect, as long as you can get within 3 millimeters, it's going to look perfect.
Right, now it's time to move on to cutting around your vanity unit, guys, and I'm going to show you how right now. So if you come down here, right, so now that you're down here, this gives us a good opportunity to show you the angle of cut you need on your long straight runs, because there's an open end. So if you see, I'm going to pull my knife along here, and you'll see it will just hook in, and then watch this. That's the angle you need. Pull it along, pushing against the unit, and then flick it off at the end. And if we pull it off, whoop, wallop, and it's nice, and it fits and it glides under. If you ain't got a little bit of space under your vanity unit, you will have to give it one more over, and then leave a little 3 mil gap and then you could put some mastic there. How about that? Right, I've got one last thing to show you before we wrap this video up, and it's how to cut into a corner. So if you want to come on down, I'm going to show you a close-up. So once again, as you just see on that vanity unit, clip your blade in, pull it along. There we are. That's it. And then you make sure it's all nice. That's going to need one more pass because it's slightly ramped up, because vinyls do expand, so you do need to leave a little gap anyways. And then you're going to grab it with your left hand, pull it in, and pull it towards you. So this is slightly ramped up. This is where I'm going to have to run it over one more time, and I'm going to show you how. So you just slip the blade in. Don't go right up to this corner because it will just pull and tug in the corner. You want to start it slightly further back. And as you can see, it's just trimming off a few more mil, and that will allow the vinyl to expand. And then in the corners, to clean these little corners up, what you need to do is grab your straight blades and just give them a little push against the wall. And then that will get that corner nice and clean. And that's a wrap. I hope it's been a massive help. If we've missed anything, just drop it in the comments below.
And please like and subscribe.
Peace.